Well, they're looking for a first home win of the season here tonight. I'm Hugh Wozencroft alongside Alvin Martin, England World Cup defender, and our very own football correspondent, Alex Crook. The players have gone down the tunnel. They're going to have their last final few instructions from both Alex Neil and Paolo Pezzolano ahead of a very important game for both teams here tonight. Fans beginning to take their seats in the stadium as well. As we know here at the Den, always a heated atmosphere for any visiting team. Alvin Martin, got to talk to you about, I guess, both sides' attacks, right? Because, like I said earlier in the show, 9 goals scored between them. That's 10 matches, 9 goals, 5 for Millwall, 4 for Watford so far in this campaign. We are desperate for a bit of creativity, and as Adam told us a few moments ago, for Watford that might come from deeper with a player like Imran Loser. We just heard from Josh Coburn of Millwall, who want to score goals, of course. I've been very impressed by Reece Bangura-Williams, who's usually used as an impact sub for Millwall as well. Incredible dribbling skills for a young player too. When you look at both of those two teams, where is the magic? Where is the spark? And is that truly what's missing when it comes to these two teams wanting to get themselves higher up the table?
Well, when we spoke earlier, you know, to people that have been watching Millwall for a long time, they felt that the creativity's there, but it's they're snatching at things. You know, it's an individual technical error that Millwall are suffering at the moment. I think the way they set themselves up, Watford, I think it will be for counter. It will be, you know, spring in with pace, and that's the way they've played over the last 3 or 4 years, really. But it's nothing like a goal to lift the striker, to lift the team and go on and run. And it's still very early, isn't it? You know, it's about 2 home games from Millwall's point of view. And Coburn is a player that, there's no doubt about it, he's got a goal in. But like all strikers, they need a goal, and especially at home. If he can get himself a goal here at home, the fans start to forgive you a little bit more. You know, you can miss one now and again. You can misplace a pass and nobody blinks an eye. If you're not scoring, you're in a drought. It's you get that dreadful groan that goes around the ground, and that puts pressure on play. And you can see some, especially strikers, starting to really start snatching this stuff and losing themselves within that role. But look, tonight, there's no doubt about it, is a fabulous opportunity, especially for Millwall. You know, Watford have had a dreadful away record for a while now, going stretching back to last season. You know, when you need to correct home form, from that point of view, it's an ideal game for them.
Our very own Tony Cascarino making his way into the stadium. Those are some rascal glasses, that's all I'm going to say. I mean, they look like science goggles from school. I mean, they're absolutely massive. Plastic numbers, green plastic numbers, no less.
That will get back.
Tony, of course, loved in these parts, Alex.
Well, both teams could do with Tony Cascarino playing up front. I would suggest, when you look at their lack of goals this season, it's very empty in here, Hugh, as well, isn't it? That tells you maybe a little bit about the way Millwall fans are feeling at this moment in time. So many empty seats.
You know, I was going to mention it, I think, Alex, it's right that you bring it up. You know, for me, I'm just weighing. Listen, I know it's a cold night, firstly, and secondly, you know, you want to. We got 7 minutes till kick-off here. You can get a full bottle of beer in before kick-off. So, you know, I wanted to give it a little bit of time before I discussed it, because you look at Millwall, Alvin, and I know you will understand what it's like to come to a hot atmosphere inside what was then the old Den, if you know what I mean. But these sets of fans, it very much runs in the blood, right? They want to make it difficult for anyone that comes here, and they do. The noise is always great. They're incredibly passionate supporters. You look around the club, a London club, and you mentioned Coburn and any creative player from Millwall sparking this ground into life by a goal, by a bit of magic. If they can do that on a consistent basis, and the fans start to come back and revive this club in a way like they did towards the back end of last season, you know, the seats were filling up here. If they were in the Premier League, for example, I know that would be a long way off, but you can imagine what the opposition players would face coming here.
Yeah, I think the Millwall fan base, maybe at this moment in time, is that stage where it's been nearly 5 years in a row now. Yeah. They've been so consistent, you know, in terms of. I was looking at their league finishes over the last 5 years, and they're always, you know, there or thereabouts. You know, 8th last season, 13th, 8th, 9th, 11th. You know, you're talking about maybe 2 or 3 wins that gets them into that top 6. And if they did get in the top 6, you know, with the atmosphere that they could create in a massive game here, they'd be a tough hurdle to overcome for anyone. So I think the fans are at the stage where, come on, we've been coming now for a few years, we've got behind you. I think there comes a time when the players have to step up to the plate, and I think this season really, and this game tonight is perfect for them. Get them back on side, build this crowd up again, get them believing in you again.
It's all about belief. It's all about belief for both of these two teams. All the fans coming here, those that have travelled from the Watford contingent and the home fans as well, are looking for the season to spark into life. Just a quick word on the importance of this evening, Alvin, for those Watford players and particularly that Watford manager.
Well, yeah, big game for both managers, big game for both teams and sets of supporters. But, some people will come into this fearing what lies ahead. You can do that, you can be worried about it. Some people, managers, players, fans, come in believing that they can win and turn their season into something that's going to be very good. And look, there's already people losing their jobs, but it is so early, Hugh. Everything really is there to play for both clubs and both sets of players.
The stadium this side beginning to fill up now as fans pour in from the concourses. Both teams make their way out onto the pitch at the Den. Watford fans delighted to see a familiar yellow and red about their players' kit this evening after they changed to blue at home to celebrate an anniversary for Elton John. And celebrations it wasn't in the end. Defeat to Blackburn last time out, they will want to bounce back from. There was a fantastic draw, if you can have a fantastic draw, for Millwall against their big rivals Charlton last time out. That means there's a little bit of a buzz about tonight. They drew against Crystal Palace with a very good second half performance at Selhurst Park in midweek, and their fans are in fine voice for a big game in the Championship this evening. It's Millwall versus Watford, live and exclusive on Talksport 2 in the company of England and West Ham legend Alvin Martin and Talksport's Alex Crook.
Thank you, Hugh, and very good evening, everybody, on a blustery and slightly chilly night in South London, and a match between two teams in need of jump-starting their respective seasons. Millwall fans harboured hopes of a playoff push under Alex Neil, but find themselves just 2 points above the relegation zone, having failed to win here at home since April. That blue Elton John inspired kit that Hugh was talking about really sums up the mood around Watford at this moment in time. They're only out of the bottom three on goal difference, and with the owners hardly renowned for patience, new manager Paolo Pezzolano could be forgiven for already feeling under pressure. Alvin Martin is alongside me. Both these teams, they just need to put 3 points on the board, don't they? It's as simple as that.
Yeah, well, Alex Neil before the game, when we were listening to the audio and the build-up in terms of what the managers were thinking, he said, look, all you got to do in this division is string consistency together. 7 or 8 results without getting beat. I made it sound so simple, Alex, but this is a pure example. This game could go either way.
Well, before kick-off, we are to pause and observe a minute's applause in memory of the late Matt Beard, who sadly passed away this weekend, the former Millwall Lionesses manager. And the Den stands as one to pay tribute. So a touching moment to begin the evening, and our thoughts at Talksport 2 go out to all of Matt Beard's friends and family at this very difficult time. A sombre start to what is usually a feisty occasion when these two meet. Watford came here and won 3-2 on the first day of last season. We're not expecting a 5-goal thriller this evening, but with both teams desperate to put a win on the board, maybe that will encourage a free-flowing game. It will be Millwall in their navy jerseys, white shorts and navy socks, shooting from right to left in this first half, who get us underway. Watford, as Hugh was alluding to, back in their more traditional colours tonight of yellow shirts, red shorts and red socks. They are attacking the Coldblow Lane end, away to our right hand side. A reminder of the two lineups for you. 3 changes for Millwall. Brian Ballo making his first start, and Maku Sako making a home debut of the players who come in. So it's Bender in goal for the Lions, Leonard, Kramer, Cooper and Bryan the back four, Ballo, Luongu, Mazu Sako and Amaku in midfield, with Negley in behind, Coburn up front. 5 alterations for Watford. They go with Selvik in goal, reverting to a back 3 tonight after playing a back 4 against Blackburn when they lost last time out. Kevin, Pollock and Elaine make up that back 3. Bolla is the left wing back, foremost Mendy the right wing back, Papi Mendy, Cipriano and Imran Louza, the captain, back from suspension in midfield, with the Portuguese youngster making his first league start, Vivaldo Semedo, partnering their story, Iran Kunda up front. And here come Watford down their right hand side, with foremost Mendy with a chip pass into the penalty area, but collected comfortably enough on the edge of the box by the German Bender, and he bowls it out to Mazu Sako in midfield. You are listening to Talksport 2, your home of the EFL. It's Millwall in possession, just on the edge of their own penalty area. Decent travelling contingent away to our left, who've made the 25-mile journey from Hertfordshire. As bad as Millwall have been at home, no victories here at the Den since April. Watford's away form, Alvin, leaves plenty to be desired as well.
Yeah, that's right. So it's, you know, it's set up for both teams, really, isn't it? You know, they're struggling at home. So from Watford's point of view, you know, let's get our attacking players on the ball and make it a difficult start for them. But they're playing the ball around a lot more. You know, they're not a direct team like they used to be now. Millwall, they want to get the ball back, play it along the grass and get it into midfield, and then with short balls into Coburn and people joining off them. But when things aren't going well sometimes, Alex, it's more difficult to play that patient game, because the fan base here, they want to see action, they want to see shots at goal. And sometimes when you're playing the slow build-up, that can be frustrating for them to watch.
3 minutes gone, it is Millwall 0, Watford 0. Goal kick for the home side, which Bender, all in orange away to our right, gets plenty of purchase on, looking for Josh Coburn, leading the line up front. And now it's back on the edge of the Millwall penalty area once more for their captain. Cooper strokes it out to the very experienced Bryan down this left-hand side. Decent looking pass from him, looking for Imaku. And it goes behind for the first corner of the game. Well defended in the end by foremost Mendy on loan from Lorient. That was direct, Alvin, but it nearly did the job.
Yeah, Maku really nearly got in behind, didn't he? Behind Mendy, just took his eye off the ball there. But you know, I think early on it's worth doing that. You know, if you've got a little bit of pace up front, and they have on this left-hand side, play it over the top of the last defender. You know, and push that back line back a little bit. You know, they will start to mark deeper then. It gives you a bit more space to get the ball to feet.
Millwall corner then, first of the evening, to be played in from this left-hand side, and it's headed away inside the area by Matty Pollock, and now they might look to counter with the diminutive Mendy. 33 years of age now, Papi Mendy on loan, from Lons in the summer, had a spell at Leicester, actually joined the Foxes in the aftermath of their incredible Premier League title winning campaign. Never really proved himself in the top flight, as Watford have possession now on the edge of the penalty area with Max Alay.
Just looking at the corner there, Alex, you know, it was a Millwall corner, and I looked up on the halfway line, and Millwall have left themselves one-on-one at the back. There's 2 Watford strikers and 2 defenders. Very unusual, that. You know, obviously, from Watford's point of view, they're okay, if we can break, we can do a little bit of damage if we deal with this. It's
a decent looking ball from Coburn down the right-hand side, needed defending by Mark Bolla, the left wing back for Watford. The cross still comes into the penalty area, but it sails over the head of Imaku and picked up now in the right wing position by the Hornets. Forward to Papi Mendy with room to turn inside his own half, and Loser's pass back to the ex-Leicester man was slightly overhit, but he does well to keep it in play. And Watford with the opportunity to build from the back now with Kevin Kebin, the Cameroonian. 5 minutes gone, 0-0 here at the Den, with the floodlights beaming brightly. I can just about still see the buildings over at London Bridge far away in the distance. Every now and again you get the train rattling past that Dockers stand over on the far side as well, very noisily. It's the Watford fans away to our left who are making most of the atmosphere inside this stadium at the moment, as foremost Mendy comes forward down the Watford right. Well tracked by Imaku, and then eventually the ball is put out of play for a Watford throw down by the right corner flag. That throw in taken quickly. Here is Imran Louza. Tried his hand at a bit of a hairdressing in the build up to this game. The Watford skipper made the most of that 3-match suspension, learning a new trade. They're yet to be behind, I'm told, when he's been on the pitch this season, which obviously because of that ban hasn't been too often, but maybe that's one reason for those travelling Hornet supporters to our left to be optimistic, and they are seeing a lot of the ball, Alvin, in these first 7 minutes, dictating the tempo.
Yeah, that's right. I think they've looked settled. Look, it hasn't been. Sometimes I think you expect Millwall to really go at you, don't you? Get the ball in the box, throws, set pieces, and then get the crowd up. But it's a much more patient build-up now for Millwall, and it's harder for them to really put pressure on a side and get out the blocks quicker. I think you need to be really playing high up the pitch and dispossessing the opposition in their back line. They haven't really got that sort of makeup at the moment, have they? Coburn is up there. He's a little bit isolated at the moment, the big number 19.
Comes a foul by Massimo Luongo on Imran Louza, the Watford captain. So a free kick around about 15 yards inside the Millwall half, in a very central position. Louza looks like he's going to take it. It's an opportunity for the likes of Max Lane and Matty Pollock to come forward from the back. Pollock, who actually scored when these two last met at Vicarage Road back in March. That was a 2-1 Millwall victory towards the end of Tom Cleverley's tenure. And it's Louza with a left-footed free kick, floated to the edge of the penalty area and nodded goalwards by a lane, but comfortably collected by Bender. And then he's been impeded on the edge of the penalty area. It's a free kick for Millwall. It stays 0-0.
Yeah, I think both centre forwards, you're looking at Semedo for Watford and Coburn up front for Millwall. They are reliant on decent, possession and service. And at the moment, I think they're both feeding on scraps, because I think the people in front of them who are supplying that service are just lacking that little bit of confidence.
We've got bodies committed forward here, though. Have Millwall. Mazu Sakho gets it back from Coburn. There's to shoot by the home supporters, and he's sent tumbling only a few yards outside the penalty area. So a free kick here within shooting range. It's a clever little drop of the shoulder that brought the free kick by Mazu Sakho, the Frenchman. And this is an opportunity, Alvin, for Millwall to test the reactions of Egil Selvik, the goalkeeper for Watford. Yeah,
I think these 19 yards out, Alex. I think 19 yards out, just left or right of the quadrant there is ideal. It's where you'd place the ball if you were asked to have a good chance of hitting the target. So, yeah, certainly one or two Millwall players will fancy this.
It looks like Camille Negley certainly is showing an interest, coming in from the right-hand side on his left foot. Is certainly an option. So too Imaku. I think it will be the left foot of Negley, and it's an absolute stunner into the top left-hand corner. Well, they haven't scored too many goals this season, Millwall. That has to be the pick of them. Camille Negley from 20 yards out, left-footed, over the wall, into the top left-hand corner. And Millwall lead inside 10 minutes. Millwall 1, Watford 0.
And it could get worse because Selvik, the Watford keeper's gone down. Nobody near him, obviously, but he looks like he's injured himself in diving for that ball. He was never anywhere near it, was he? It was a lovely left-footed execution of a free kick. Wasn't right in the top corner. Maybe he would have felt, can I get a touch on him? I think he's collided with the post, Alex, on the way down. the Watford goalkeeper, and this could get worse for them.
Yeah, I think he's just hit the back of his head on that left-hand post, and he is down receiving treatment. It's a hammer strike from Kamil Negli, the Algerian who was on the score sheet up at Norwich on the opening day. He has his second, and Millwall has something to hang on to now and build upon.
The game needed that, didn't it? I thought you just felt that this home crowd here, we were waiting for something to happen. They've got themselves in front with a lovely free kick, and it's about building on that now. But he's still down, and he looks in some distress, doesn't he, the Watford goalkeeper?
Well, this is a big concern for Paolo Pezzolano, the recently installed Watford manager. One win in his first 6 games in all competition, and having seen his side concede early, Nathan Baxter, the backup goalkeeper, has been sent out to warm up. He's just sat up now inside the 6-yard box is Selvik, which is a bit more promising from a Watford perspective. Alex Neil, meanwhile, has just called over a cluster of navy-shirted Millwall players just to issue some instructions, having seen his side take the early lead. That was a real thunderbolt right in front of the travelling Watford fans. But I take your point, Alvin, it was the goalkeeper's side, not dissimilar actually to the goal that Stack scored for Leeds in the Premier League against Wolves at the weekend. And I think the common consensus, speaking to a couple of former Premier League goalkeepers, was that maybe Jose Sarr should have done better with that one as well.
It seemed to go over his left hand as he was reaching for it, Alex. That's what maybe felt. Maybe he could have just moved his feet a little bit quicker. No doubt about it. It was a very good free kick.
I'm pleased to say Egil Selvik is now back to his feet, so it looks like he will be able to continue with his Watford team a goal down. And we have to go back to February, some 9 games ago now, for the last time that Watford supporters saw their team win on their travels. I mentioned it partly tongue-in-cheek, Alvin, but it is an ownership group, the Pozzo family, who have made a habit over the last decade or so as chopping and changing managers. If Millwall do go on and win this game, and it's 1 win from 7 for Pezzolano, should he start to be concerned? We'll come back to that, because here come Millwall again down the left-hand side with Imaku, and he's won a corner.
Well, we were speaking to the Watford journalists, weren't we, before the game, and we did speak about characters, Alex. We're having characters and leaders, and these are the sort of situations that we have to wait and goal. Characters, leaders who are going to talk and communicate.
Corner for Millwall, leading by 1-0 here on Talksport 2. Imaku with the delivery, it's lifted over the crossbar. Jake Cooper, the captain, up from the back, and I think there was a half-decent opportunity to get a quick-fire second. Really good delivery by Imaku.
Well, you would have felt that, certainly coming into the game, Alex Neil will feel that, they've got the size advantage, no doubt about that. So if they get the delivery right, there's more than a good chance that they'll have a chance from a corner or a set piece.
Watford trying to play their way out from the back, but they've given the ball away inside their own half. Joe Bryan, the ex-Bristol City and Fulham fullback, knocks it forward. Then there was a foul there by Tierno Ballo. It's going to be a free kick for Watford, but well inside their own half. They signed 14 new players this summer, the Hornets. The messaging coming out of Vicarage Road when they appointed Paolo Pezzolano, a manager who's got a history of taking teams up from the second tier in various leagues around the world, was that the owners wanted to challenge for promotion this season. At the moment, they're casting their attention to the opposite end of the table. They trail by 1-0. Long punt upfield from the free kick is comfortably dealt with by Millwall, knocked forward by Mazu Sakho, and they were looking to release Coburn quickly on the counter, but won back well. And dropping very deep here for Watford is Nestori Irankunda, and he plays it to the edge of the centre circle. And now they will look to come forward, Watford down the right, but given away sloppily. Pass forward intended for Papi Mendy, trickles harmlessly out for a throw-in down by the left corner flag. 15 minutes gone on Talksport 2, your home of the EFL. It's Millwall 1, Watford 0. Kamil Negli, the Algerian, with 20-yard free kick into the top corner. to break the deadlock early in this game. It's Brian who hoists the throw down the left-hand side for Millwall. Chip back towards the penalty area, headed clear by Mazu Sakho, and there's a Watford player down, injured, but Millwall in no mood really to put the ball out of play. And belatedly, the referee Josh Smith stops the play. It's not a head injury, I don't think.
I think it is. I think they both clashed heads. There was two of them there, but I don't know why he's left it so long. You could see that it was a clash of heads. He was right there, but he's let the ball go, what, 78 yards, and then stopped it.
Now, calling on the Watford medical team to administer some treatment was Iran Kunda, who went down. The teenage Australian international, signed from Bayern Munich, no less, in the summer transfer window for £2.5 million. He's got a couple of goals already, and speaking to Watford fans ahead of this game, he's been the one shining light so far.
It's a bit of a dangerous situation. This, I think it's a dangerous game for both teams. If you win this game, you can really push on. You lose it, and there are questions to be answered, and you can have a fallout really over the forthcoming games, Al. But it's a really big game for Millwall in the sense that they've taken the lead. Very important that they don't just sit and relax now. They build on that. If they were to get a second goal, it would already, it would really damage them, mentally, Watford. So it's important that they don't sit back now and say, okay, well, we've got ourselves in front, we're just going to sit on that lead. That's not the way to go.
It's a far cry from this time last season when they made such an excellent start under Tom Cleverley, particularly at home. Really turned Vicarage Road into a bit of a fortress in the early months of the campaign. In fact, they're 5 points worse off at this stage this season than they were a year ago. And they're 1-0 down already here at the Den. Watford have the ball with Kevin Kebbin on the edge of the penalty area. Now Loser put under pressure by Coburn 10 yards outside his own box, but manages to pick out a teammate in yellow. Again, Coburn going to close down Pollock. They're pressing from the front here, Millwall. And Kebbin took a little bit of a risk inside his own penalty area. They've not played their way out yet. Here's Max Lane, and he had the ball nicked away from him by the hard-working Imaku. It's out for a Watford throw, but the Millwall fans appreciated the endeavour of their team. In fact, he's conceded a free kick, Imaku.
Well, they've certainly taken responsibility on the ball. The back went the Watford defenders. They were really tight situations inside their own penalty areas at times, inviting the ball, inviting the challenge. And if you're lacking a bit of confidence, it's not easy to do that.
It's the voice of Alvin Martin, former West Ham and England star, here on Talksport 2. As Lane tries to play the ball forward down the Watford right-hand side, then nods it on to Papi Mendy, but Millwall quickly win it back again with Brian, and Coburn is making a dashing run ahead of him. Couldn't quite find the tall number 19 leading the line for Millwall this evening, and Watford have it back down their left-hand side now with Mark Boller. Millwall leading by that early free kick goal to nil. As Watford have the ball now right in the centre of the Millwall half with Loser. Looks to spread the play out to the left-hand side. Good ball, picking out Boller, the left wing back. Not a bad cross either, but well headed away by Kramer. And then they've squandered possession inside their own half, and it's blazed over the crossbar from 20 yards out by Loser.
Well, he's very, very fortunate there, Leonard, the right back for Millwall. He gifted possession back to Watford inside his own penalty area, and they didn't take advantage of it, Watford. It really was one touch to shoot, one touch to control, I should say, one touch to shoot, and it was never anywhere near hitting the target, so it was a let-off for Millwall.
We've got a couple more commentaries coming your way tomorrow night from the Carabao Cup this time. We've reached the third round stage here on Talksport 2. We're going to be at Anfield for Liverpool against Southampton. That's an 8 o'clock kickoff. Over on Talksport 7:45, it's Lincoln against Chelsea from the Carabao Cup as Watford come forward in search of an equaliser. 20 minutes gone here. They trail by a goal to nil. Good bit of play here by Irankunda plays it out to the edge of the area, and then it's hammered over the bar by Papi Mendy this time. But a couple of shooting opportunities in quick succession, Alvin Martin.
Yeah, Irankunda's got a little bit about him, though. He really has. When he's got the ball at his feet, he's got a low centre of gravity. It looks like he's got pace left or right. A lovely layoff there, but they've got to take advantage. You've got to at least hit the target there.
Wednesday night Carabao Cup commentary on Talksport comes from Vale Park. Port Vale against Arsenal is an 8 o'clock kick-off here on Talksport 2. I'll be part of the team for Real Betis against Nottingham Forest. Big night on their return to Europe for Ange Postecoglou's side. And then on Thursday we're at Villa Park as they take on Bologna in the Europa League. That's an 8 o'clock kick-off over on Talksport, so plenty of live football to get your teeth into over the coming days. 21 minutes gone here. It's Millwall 1, Watford 0. The ball is stroked out to this Watford right-hand side, looking for foremost Mendy, but Brian there ahead of the Watford wing-back. And now Coburn is grappling with Kevin. The home fans wanted a free kick. Referee allows play to continue. It's picked up down the Millwall right-hand side by Ryan Leonard. And then they're going to patiently play their way back. And then Cooper, the captain, asks Brian to trot forward on this near left-hand side. Now Ballo back into midfield, and Brian, who's going to try and switch the play from left to right, but a little bit too close to his defender, and then, well, it wasn't dealt with at all by Mark Boller, and eventually they crossed it back in, Millwall, and it was Coburn from 7 yards out who blazed over. I mean, you were shaking your head at the original crossfield pass from Brian. Alvin wasn't well defended at all and ended up with a chance of Coburn that maybe he should have done better with.
Yeah, crazy. They nearly got something out of it, didn't he? It was an aimless ball, really. But once somebody defends that poorly in his own penalty area, you're gifted a chance. I think, in fairness to Coburn, it come at him really quickly, and he was unsighted slightly, but it's certainly a let-off there, because it looked like we had the second goal.
Matty Pollock was having a shirt pulled there inside the centre circle, having carried the ball up towards halfway, wins a free kick which Watford have taken quickly. Here's Imran Louza. That record of him not being part of a Watford team that have been behind this season lasted just 10 minutes tonight. The returning captain, and now foremost Mendy runs the ball out of play. They have made a lot of mistakes, Watford, already in these opening 23 minutes.
Yeah, look at you can see it's a side that just at this moment in time is not looking tight, it's not looking forceful, organised. I mean, he's obviously got lots of ability, Louza, isn't he? And he's somebody with a left and a right foot. He'll keep possession, he'll play balls, but it's not about one man. It's about running people around him and all being on the same hymn sheet as such.
Here's Cipriano, one of those 14 summer signings. In fact, the first of those 14 arrived from League One Peterborough. It's going to be a corner kick here, I think, for Watford. That was actually quite clever play. Down on the right-hand side by the youngster Semedo. Just waited for the Millwall player to come in and nick the ball off his toe and play it behind for a Watford corner.
Some bright players. They've got some bright players, Watford. They've got technically good, lots of pace, but at the moment they don't look like a team. They look like individuals.
Imran Louza to take the corner from the right-hand side. In front of that cold blow lane end away to our right. Whipped in towards the 6-yard box. The referee had already blown for a foul. As the left-footed attempt from Irankunda almost finds the second tier of that cold blow lane end. It's going to be a free kick anyway for Millwall, who lead 1-0. We've gone past the halfway point in this first half. The goal on 10 minutes. A free kick into the top corner from 20 yards out from Camille Negley. And Watford haven't really been able to test Stephen Bender in the Millwall goal since falling behind. Free kick taken short to the edge of the area. Long punt upfield by Cooper, the Millwall captain, looking for Coburn.
That's where he should do better, really. Alex, I love that's a long ball. It's a ball that's pinged shoulder height into Coburn, and he's got to see that and get his body in the line of that ball. He holds that up then, but he just let the defender just get round him there. Kevin it was.
Here's Pollock, who once again has been able to carry the ball a long way, all the way to 15 yards within the Millwall penalty area, away to our right. Chance for Boller maybe to cross on the left-hand side. He's gone back instead, all the way into their own half, Watford, when they had men forward there. Cipriano dropping deep, filling in for Pollock, who gone forward, and he scoops the ball out to the left, and Boller once more. Boller does well to keep it in play despite the protestations of the Millwall fans. It's dinked forward then, looking for Iran Kunda, but too strong for him, Tristan Kramer, and the ball is behind for a goal kick. It remains Millwall 1, Watford 0 here on Talksport 2.
I think it's also with both managers, you know, they're searching for consistency. They want to put like 5-6 games together, but it's still early days, isn't it? This isn't going to be a flick of a switch and everything's going to be okay. It will be a case of maybe on them first 2 or 3 results, if they can put a run together, it's about just gradually, you know, nicking result here, nicking result there, and then all of a sudden the confidence comes.
Good ball forward by Negley to the edge of the penalty area. Ballo trying to slide the pass through for Coburn, intercepted by Keben, and out of play over on the far right hand side as we look. That was a good run again from Josh Coburn that Ballo wasn't quite able to pick out with a pass.
He's willing, there's no doubt about it. I've been watching Coburn in his movement. He's willing to make them runs. You know, he'll make 34 yard runs. Doesn't have the ball in service really that it deserves.
Here's Joe Bryan down the Millwall left, rolls it out to Imaku, and he's into the penalty area. Imaku on the byline, drills it along the 6 yard line. I think he just about carried it out of play anyway, but it wasn't great defending by foremost Mendy Alvin, diving in.
Well, he went past him as if he wasn't there. I couldn't believe he got the other side of him. And then once he did, really, he should have been just a little bit more composed. The ball ran away from him. I think he ran out of play when really he should have just been able to switch that back into a real danger zone, and it was a great opportunity.
Millwall 1, Watford 0. Here is Coburn, tries to pluck the ball from the sky. It bounces off his right knee, but he's still got it, Coburn, the gangly, blonde-haired forward for Millwall. And now it's Bryan again down the left. He's been given plenty of room in this first half, and he looks for Ballo.
Great ball.
He just seemed to go round the defender when maybe he could have been a bit more direct there, Ballo.
Yeah. Well, the ball had the perfect weight on there, Alex. You know, and really, I just felt that he wasn't alert to it. You know, he just needed to just let it run past the defender, go on the outside of him. It was really a great ball. That's they can get that sort of service into him. I think on this left-hand side, they're looking quite lively, Millwall.
Yeah, you've got to say he's got the selections right so far, Alex Neil, tonight. Joe Bryan coming in at left-back has been a real driving force on this near side. Ballo, you've mentioned there, trying to link up with him on that occasion. I think Mazu Sakho in midfield has had a good opening 29 minutes as well. In contrast, Watford making 5 changes, changing the formation for about the 4th time this season, and no real cohesion to their play to this point. Millwall deservedly in front, courtesy of that early free kick from Kamil Negley. And here's Bryan again in space on the left-hand side. Forward he goes to Imaku. Bryan wants it back on the edge of the penalty area, gets it from Imaku. He's going to cross this towards Coburn, and again it was a good delivery, and again maybe just a bit reluctant there to fully commit Coburn. It is stabbed behind for another Millwall corner. That was a teasing cross from Joe Bryan, showing his Premier League quality.
Yeah, again on this left-hand side. It's the first sign really over the last 7, 8, 9 minutes that we're seeing a side that's starting to control the game, and Millwall has certainly done that.
Millwall 1, Watford 0. Corner will be taken over on that far side by Edimo Imaku, the Republic of Ireland under-21 international. So I think this is going to be an outswinger to around about the penalty spot. Jake Cooper is lurking in that area, so too is Coburn. Kramer's made a run to the near post. There is Cooper with a header down into the ground and wide of the left-hand post. It was a decent delivery, well choreographed, the routine, but Cooper couldn't quite direct the header on target.
I think he'll be a little disappointed with that. I think he will. You know, he hasn't really got to jump for it. It's all about direction. He hasn't got to make the power on the ball, because it's a decent ball, and all he's got to do is direct it. And it's got about a yard past the right-hand post, and he's better than that.
Here is Iran Kunda trying to attack down the right-hand side. Joe Bryan goes flying in with a tackle. He picks up a yellow card. Irankunda had just nicked the ball away from Joe Bryan. He's gone right through the back of the Watford forward. A pretty easy decision for Josh Smith, the referee, to brandish the first yellow of the evening.
Yeah, I think it's not just a foul. I think it's the area of the pitch and what would have happened if he hadn't have brought the player down. The player then, Watford have an advantage. They're into an area where they can attack the edge of the penalty area, and I think that's the reason he's got the yellow out. So I'd go along with that.
And you wonder if Watford might be a bit more deliberate now, trying to target Bryan on this left-hand side for the last 15 minutes of the first half. They trail by a goal to nil. But they have a free kick here and an opportunity to send the big men forward from the back once more. Imran Louza, the captain, looks like he wants the responsibility. Cipriano has just walked away from the dead ball. Papi Mendy is still there, but Louza has put both arms up in the air. There are 4 yellow jerseys at the moment on the 18-yard line. It is Louza with the left-footed ball floated to the edge of the box, but again comfortably dealt with by the Millwall defence, and then launched back upfield by foremost Mendy, and headed away and picked up by Coburn, who just showed a little bit too much of that to Papi Mendy, and Watford have it back now midway inside their own half. They trail by a goal to nil on Talksport 2.
It's certainly very important to Watford, isn't he? Louza, he wants the ball in every position really, and he doesn't mind if he's being marked. He's confident enough to be able to receive it, either left or right foot, and he's got a lot of awareness about his game. Really good player.
He's one of the few survivors, isn't he, from their time in the Premier League. We do have Moussa Sissoko back at the football club. He's on the bench tonight. Watford fans have not exactly been speaking in glowing terms about his performances at the start of the season, hence his omission maybe from the starting lineup. There is Max Salane, plays it along his back three to Kevin initially, and now Matty Pollock able to stroll forward over halfway for the Hornets. Neat little ball forward by Irankunda to Cipriano, and then the play is spread out to this right-hand side, and foremost Mendy may with a chance to cross. Thinks twice about it and comes infield for the Cypriot Cipriano. Now foremost Mendy does put the ball into the penalty area, but it took a deflection off Joe Bryan, and that took any real pace off it. Back with foremost Mendy on this near side. Now Louza comes across to help. Good spell of possession this from Watford, but Millwall have got everybody in navy blue back behind the ball, defending this 1-0 lead on Talksport 2. Irankunda just bit off a bit more than he could chew there inside the centre circle. He has really been the main outlet for the Hornets, but Millwall have it back with their skipper Cooper halfway inside his own half. Forward down this left-hand side to Ballo. He's been out-muscled by Max Salane, but does win a throw. Alex Neil just having a word with the fourth official, because actually a free kick eventually has been given. And Joe Bryan, a yard inside his own half, only a yard in from the left touchline as well, will take it. Millwall leading by a goal to nil. They've won only 1 of 5 championship games this season, but do have a good recent record against Watford. 4 victories in the last 6 meetings between the pair, including that last one at Vicarage Road back in March. Ball aimed forward towards Coburn. It was sliced away by Kebin. And now Cipriano is being put under pressure by Mazo Sacco, but does well. And Cipriano arrows a pass out to the right-hand side, and foremost Mendy just began to pass the ball around neatly out in the last few minutes, Watford.
Yeah, I've got to give them credit, because they haven't gone on the back foot after conceding the goal fairly early in the game. They've kept going, kept passing the ball.
Louza finds foremost Mendy down the right. Better ball into the penalty area this time, and it was a flying header from Semedo. It hit one of those Millwall defenders' half-hearted appeals for handball, but the referee had a good view of it and says play on. Louza back out to the left-hand side. The ball played in by Boller, but it was swept clear. Here's Loser again. Millwall under a bit of pressure here in the last few moments, and everybody bar the Watford goalkeeper Selvik is inside the Millwall half away to our right. Another cross in from foremost Mendy is cleared. Loser brings it down neatly, 6 or 7 yards outside the penalty area, shoots left-footed, and that's an awkward save down to his left by the sprawling Bender. It's a really good first touch by Loser to create the space to get the shot away, and that was awkward for the keeper, Alvin.
Yeah, it bounced just in front of him, and like you say, it was awkward. His technique was decent. He judged the bounce, pushed it away from the danger area, but just a little spell of pressure there, decent pressure. But I was just watching, you mentioned in the commentary there, Bolly, puts the ball in, and I'm looking, they haven't really got any height advantage here. You've got two big centre-halves there, from Millwall's point of view, and that means you've got to be on the move, Al. And I was watching both of them when that ball was delivered. They're static, and with all due respect, you've got two players who are towering above you. The only way you're ever going to get any joy out of them is by outwitting them with pace, and it was much too static.
Here's Brian down the left-hand side for Millwall. Volley cross into the penalty area. Good header away by Boller. Collected by the scorer of the only goal, Camille Negley for Millwall. 9 minutes the first half to play here on Talksport 2. Jake Cooper in the orange footwear plays the ball into the Millwall half, and it's picked up now by Brian again on the near side. Paolo Pezzolano, the Watford manager, very animated in his grey hoodie down below us. Here's Coburn trying to bring the ball under his spell down by the left corner flag. Does well to feed the ball then into Imaku. It's swept back out to this left-hand side, but over the head of Imaku by Luongo and out for a Watford throw. 1-0 Millwall lead.
So it was just the ball went into Coburn there. It was about a 40-yard ball from Brian. Good ball in. He kept hold of the ball, but really somebody's got to be on the move, joining Coburn there, so he can actually just stop it. He doesn't even have to control it. He can just chest it off or knock it off one touch, but he needs more support when that ball's on its way from the midfield player.
Working ball forward by Kebin for Watford, but only to Cooper. Now Joe Bryan hugging this near touchline, halfway inside Millwall territory. The Lions just slowing the game down, trying to take the sting out the Hornets. They have been building up a head of steam in the last few moments. Now Bryan 15 yards inside the Watford half. Brian coming forward again down the left, and again back to Cooper. Those two have exchanged quite a few passes in the last few moments, using all of their experience. Then it's a slightly more direct ball forward by Tristan Kramer, the French centre-back for Millwall, but collected by the pink-shirted Egil Selvik, the Watford goalkeeper, and he bowls it out to the edge of the box. And Kebin once more. 7 minutes of the first half to play. 1-0 to Millwall here on Talksport 2. Header away by the stooping Cooper. Luongo being put under pressure all the time there by Semedo, but goes back to his goalkeeper, Stephen Bender. And the ball played into the Millwall midfield, and Luongo is sprayed it out to the right-hand side. And the tempo visibly being slowed down by Millwall after that bit of Watford pressure they had to soak up. And here's Brian again on the left-hand side for the hosts. Cooper back out to Brian on the left once more. 15 yards inside the Millwall half away to our right. It's a neat little turn by Imaku. An even better ball to Ballo. Ballo's low cross is blocked behind by Elaine, but it will be a Millwall corner.
Well, he's certainly had a decent first half, hasn't he, Imaku? He's got the beating of Mendy, and pace-wise, he's a lovely turn there and laid it in. If I was a Millwall player, I'd be getting the ball to him as often as possible, to be fair.
Yeah, that link up between him and Joe Bryan on this near side has brought Millwall plenty of joy to this point. 5.5 minutes of regulation time to play. Millwall 1, Watford 0. It is Imaku to take the corner. Good punch away by Selvik to the edge of the penalty area, put back in by Camille Negley, the goal scorer, but Watford again get it clear. And here is an opportunity for Iran Kunda to try and race forward. And he's been penalised in the end for pushing the back of Ryan Leonard, and it's a free kick for Millwall. That was quite clever from Leonard, just to run across the path of Iran Kunda as he was trying to get up to full speed.
You're talking as if you've played there. I think I've done that a few times. But yeah, he bought the free kick in the end, and he ran there and shadowed him all the way, 40, 50 yards, and then just threw the free kick. And now they've got a nice position to be able to deliver from Millwall.
Yeah, into the last 4.5 minutes at the end of the first half. Joe Bryan with a free kick, which will be played to the edge of the penalty area, headed away by Pollock and picked up by Kamil Negley. His free kick on 10 minutes into the top corner from 20 yards is the goal that separates these two teams, and at the moment he's going to pull Millwall clear of the bottom three and leave Watford looking over their shoulders. Here's Imaku in behind again. If he just put it back to Balu inside the penalty area, there could have been a shooting opportunity. And here is Balu. First ball in, having been blocked away. Here's Luongo being urged to let fly from the edge of the box, but it was well defended by Cipriano. And the ball picked up now down the right hand side by Derek Mazusako for Millwall.
Excellent play again on this left hand side by Maku. He really has been the standout player for them.
Tony Cascarino has seen enough of this first half, going down for his prawn sandwiches. Former Millwall striker and Talksport weekend breakfast host, of course. I think he'll be pretty encouraged with what he's seen from his former club, with only 3.5 minutes the first half to play. They lead 1-0. They've been reasonably good value for that lead. Still, Stephen Bender, the goalkeeper, has been untroubled. The ball is glanced forward by Iran Kunda, but one back by Cooper. He's passed it straight back to Iran Kunda. And he plays it to Cipriano, who comes forward down the Watford left. Loser's got some space in midfield if they can find him. Time to turn here, wearing the white boots, the Hornets captain. Picked up by Elaine, and now Kevin just inside the Watford half away to the left. This is foremost Mendy, turns away from Imaku. But again, they're well drilled here behind the ball. Certainly have been doing their jobs out of possession, this Millwall team this evening, as Alex Neil, their manager, would have demanded. Papi Mendy back into the centre circle, and Kevin, and he in turn rolls it out to his left hand side, and Pollock. There was just nowhere there for Watford to play into.
It's 20 passes really, all comfortable. There's no presence up front. You never feel that they're going to ping it into a front man. He's going to hold it up or do something individual. It was all in front of that Millwall team.
2 minutes to play, plus stoppage time in the first half. Millwall 1, Watford 0. Lots of the home fans are making their way into the concourses now to dissect, no doubt, over a pie and a cup of Bovril what they've seen in the opening 45 minutes. And they've seen their team score their first championship home goal of the season, a brilliant free kick from Kamil Negley after only 10 minutes into the top corner. At the moment, that goal will be enough to give them a half-time lead, unless Watford can come up with something in the few minutes that remain. Here's Imaku at the other end, though, into the penalty area. Balu's made the overlapping run. He just held on to it for too long. Imaku, you can see the frustration visibly of Balu, having gobbled up the ground to make the room for the pass.
What a great opportunity. Like I said, he's been a standout performer, but he made a mess of that one. I do feel that, maybe Balu shouldn't have made the run. He should have left him one-on-one, stayed on the outside, got in field a little bit, just distracted the defender. But he took the defender into an area where it made it more difficult for Imaku.
Into the final minute of the first half. Millwall still leading by that goal to nil. Their goalkeeper Bender plays it long outfield. Goal Coburn in a wrestling match there, midway inside the Watford half. The Millwall fans wanted a free kick. Meanwhile, Selvic's had to come a long way out of his goal and get there ahead of Balu. And then it's won back by the goal scorer Negley. Balu just had too many yellow jerseys around him, and Watford able to go long on the counter-attack, looking to release Iran Kunda. And he's had a lot to do, hasn't he, up against the the Millwall back line. Kramer and Cooper have done a pretty good marshalling job on Iran Kunda.
Yeah, been very rock solid, really. But both centre halves, I think they've controlled it for the most part of the game. They've got themselves in front, and they haven't really given Watford a look at their goal.
Here's Amaku running again at foremost Mendy. Again, he gives the ball away a little tamely, and it will be a goal kick as we move into added on time at the end of the opening 45. We had that minor delay, didn't we, after Selvik headbutted the post, having been beaten by the free kick.
Yeah, he looks all right now, doesn't he, the Watford goalkeeper? But since I said Amaku's been a standout player, he's had his 2 worst moments, hasn't he?
I think they call that the curse of the commentator, Alvin Martin. So into stoppage time we go. Millwall leading by a goal to 0. They haven't lost their first 3 home games at the start of the season since way back in 2015. That was a record that Alex Neil no doubt would have been keen to avoid matching this evening. Here's Imaku now, down the left, opportunity to cross right-footed over the head of Coburn, and then awkwardly turned behind his own goal by Max Allain, because I think he knew that there were players coming in at the far post, and it will be a corner for Millwall right at the end of the first half.
That's a horrible ball to deal with. It's coming across the face of goal. You don't know what's behind you. Well, you do. You know there's a Millwall player there, but you don't know if he's going to try and get in front of you or come around the side. And it's a really uncomfortable position to be as a defender. Absolutely.
I think it was Ryan Leonard, actually, the right back, who did exactly what he would have been coached to do from a young age. Hit the space at the far post when the ball is coming in from the opposite flank. Imaku just bouncing the ball down in the quadrant over on the far side before delivering this corner. Millwall maybe sensing an opportunity to double their lead before half-time. Cooper has to climb very high to nod the ball down inside the box, kept alive by Coburn. Here's Ballo. And then Luongo goes to ground under the challenge from foremost Mendy, but it wasn't a foul. It will be a throw-in for Millwall in the last of the 3 added minutes at the end of the first half, level with the penalty area. Joe Bryan trots forward to take it. I think overall, Alvin, you can't really complain about the scoreline.
No,
even if you're one of those Watford fans away to our left.
No, I think you have to say he deserved the 1 goal lead, possibly maybe even 2.
Here is Luongo looking for the cross for the second goal towards Coburn, dealt with by Pollock initially, and then smashed up into the air by Kevin, but it's going to be another Millwall throw. They're only the half positively here, the home team. As Alex Neil prepares to deliver his team talk. Joe Bryan forward to Imaku, dispossessed this time by Allain, who does well, and then we had a swing at it. Allain kicked thin air, but the referee decided he was impeded by Imaku, and it will be a Watford free kick, but they won't have time to take it. Well, 2 teams who've been struggling for goals so far this season, so no surprise that it is a slender margin that gives Millwall the lead. But what a goal it was to break the deadlock. Kamil Negli curling in left-footed from 20 yards out into the top left corner with just 10 minutes played. Maybe question marks about the goalkeeper Egil Selvik, but it was a quality strike nonetheless, and Millwall have pretty much controlled the game since then. Watford yet to test Stephen Bender, Selvik's opposite number. Finally, these fans inside the den have seen their team score at home this season, and it was a strike well worthy of the wait. Half-time, Millwall 1, Watford 0.
Well, they used to say a trip to the den was more like a rugby match. To be honest, it's been more like the ballet tonight. Precise, artistic from both sides, playing neat, possession-based football, thoroughly entertaining, but a different type of contest. So don't let them tell you that you don't get great tactical battles in the EFL. It's evolving here at the Den. Alvin Martin, England legend, alongside me. Alvin, they haven't got their kits dirty. It wasn't what I was expecting, but I have been thoroughly entertained because you can see a clear pattern of play, a desire to want to play football. Players, can you believe it, getting the ball down and dribbling, running at their man. It's unbelievable.
Well, it's cultured, isn't it, Hugh? It's cultured. We've seen a little bit of culture at the Den. No, look, it's great to see getting the ball down and playing. I think around the final third, that's where I think both teams, I think Millwall definitely shaded for me and deservedly going 1 goal up. I think Watford, it's that presence round the final third. You know, you can pass and pass and pass, but then when you get, I don't know, 20 yards outside the edge of the penalty area of the opposition, then I think you have to look forward. You have to look and thread a ball through, take a risk getting a ball through, and when that ball's on its way, Hugh, there should be other people looking to be able to feed off where it's going. And I think that's something that Watford haven't really done, and Millwall need to improve that as well, because when the ball's going into Coburn, for instance, he's having to have 5, 6, 7 touches, and he's happy just to be able to keep the ball and not give it away. Whereas if he gets the ball laid in the right way, and he's got 2 players on either side of him making runs and demanding the ball, he just leaves it there and he gets on his bike again. So I think that's just a final third improvement. But when you look at this, it smacks of 2 teams that are just not quite right. 2 teams who are just lacking a little bit of confidence in the subtle side of the game.
We did get a real piece of quality for the opening goal from Kamil Negley, putting Millwall in front. To be honest, it was early on, but it did come against the run of play. Watford started very well. Maybe Egil Selvik in the Watford goal will feel he could have done better with it, but it got the crowd here off their feet.
Yeah, I don't think it was a mistake here. I think you'll find a mix of opinion on this one. I feel that, you know, a good goalkeeper, which he is, should get a touch on that. And it goes over him. It doesn't go in the top corner. When it goes in the top corner, I don't think anyone can say, you know, that a keeper should get it. It's a big goal to be able to get over to the other side. But when it goes over the top of a goalkeeper who's got an outstretched hand, that's when I do start to question the goalkeeper. And I think that was the case.
I think, and I know Alex compared it to the Leeds free kick against Wolves at the weekend from Stack. But that had, firstly, a lot of power behind it. Secondly, actually went into the side netting of the goal. This one was lofted over the wall and didn't go into the corner. So I feel like the goalkeeper, you know, Jose Sarr will feel like he could have done better, but the goalkeeper here certainly will feel like he could have as well. But the first goal was very important on the evening. It's gone Millwall's way. We thought they might have then been able to really assert themselves and control play in front of their home fans. But in fact, it's been Watford who've been looking to play even under pressure right from the goalkeeper, right at the back. Very nice in possession. And as you said, it's just when they get in and around the penalty area where things are breaking down for them. They've only really had sighters from distance. The only thing that I'd say about their forward line is, you know, as much as we've seen some very good possessional play tonight from both teams, particularly when it comes to the forward, Vivaldo Semedo, we need some old school EFL centre forward play from you, getting in ahead of your central defenders, winning the ball, winning some flick-ons. He's very much playing like a young, immature centre forward.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I think that, you know, you've hit the nail on the head as far as I'm concerned. I think he needs to just get a bit more angrier, have more agency about his play, and sometimes it's the untidy parts of the game, chasing the ball down. When a ball goes over the top, even if you're not going to get to it, don't let the centre half have an easy time where he's just going to knock it back, get on his heels, start having a little nibble at him, and it just worries him a little bit more. And look, he's up against 2 very good centre halves. Kramer and Cooper are experienced, they're big, they're strong, they're mobile. So you've got to do something special to be able to get the better of them. But you've got to ruffle a few more feathers and certainly more aggression in his game.
The other big chances in the game, if you want to call them big chances, came for Millwall. Josh Coburn, 7 yards out. It was an instinctive prod towards goal, went over the bar. Jake Cooper from a set piece, we've seen it so many times. He got a free header on the run, angled it towards the corner, just went past the post. Maybe he will feel that he could have done better. Maybe both of them will.
Yeah. I think the header for Cooper, because I know how good a header he is of the ball. I think he'll be unhappy that he didn't find a corner there. But look, you know, that man down on the pitch at the moment as we're talking, you keep mentioning he's taking his glasses off now, Hugh.
That's what I was referring to. Yeah, there are some Millwall dignitaries down on the pitch here at half-time, and our very own Tony Cascarino has been awarded a lovely plaque along with some other ex-players. He's taken his glasses off for a special moment, so even he knows deep down that no one wants to see those. A bit like Dexter's lab, it's Cascarino's lab at Millwall here tonight. In fact, so far there's been a bit of a clinic from both sides in terms of their play. You know, straight out of the coaching manual, but both sides will just want a little bit more teeth in their attack in the second 45 minutes. We'll be back with Alex Crook and Alvin Martin very shortly, but as it stands, Millwall heading to a first home win in the Championship this season. They lead Watford thanks to Kamil Negli's early free kick. Second half to come here on Talksport 2 at the break. It's Millwall 1, Watford 0.
Separate your buttocks from your Beckenbauers and play Power Pro with Einhell Pro Power Tools on Talksport. Identify different Deutsche Football heroes every day to win ein fantastisch All-Star VIP Bayern München Mega Adventure and a cool, cordless Einhell Pro Twin Kit. Enter now at Talksport.com/win and play Power Pro all this week at Drive on Talksport with Einhell Pro Power Tools. The new kit on the block.
Get class ready with Samsung and EE. Upgrade to the epic Galaxy S25 Ultra, get a free 14-inch Galaxy Chromebook Go worth £399 and save an amazing £672. A laptop for their studies and projects, and a Galaxy AI-powered smartphone that keeps up with you. Buy from EE by the 29th of September, claim from Samsung within 30 days of purchase, savings across contract, terms apply.
You want the look, clean, close, sharp, but you don't have time to play around. Meet the Pitbull X5 series from Skullshaver.com, our best-selling shaver, now even better. Smooth blades, stronger motor, better grip, built for speed, designed for skin. No mess, no mirror, no drama. 90 seconds and you're done. Fresh, confident, ready. Pitbull X5 range by Skullshaver. Available now at Skullshaver.com.
Looking for your perfect travel partner? Someone you can trust to help you plan your dream trip? Introducing Times Holidays, a brand new service from the Times. Our expert travel advisors use the insight and knowledge that only the Times can bring. From tailor-made adventures and safaris to all-inclusive cruises and beach retreats. Explore, plan, and now book with Times Holidays. Visit thetimes.com/holidays. Trust us to take you there.
Have you ever heard of the Ultimate Fighting Championship?
Dwayne Johnson is simply incredible. NME.
Am I going to hurt him before he hurts me?
He's delivered a knockout. Metro. Potentially a future Oscar winner. The Independent.
Please welcome
Based on the true story of a UFC legend.
Winning is the best feeling there is.
Emily Blunt is sensational. IndieWire.
I just need you to let me in.
Are you ready? Yes.
The Smashing Machine. In cinemas October 3rd.
At AJ Bell, we've made setting up your ISA easy. So easy, a baby could do it. Though babies can't invest. They certainly wouldn't have any use for our low-cost investment platform. Or the coordination to use it. Even though it's really, really easy. They also don't listen to radio ads. Unlike you clever sausage. Now, set yourself up with an ISA as a reward. You can even set one up for your baby. Open one in under 15 minutes and start investing today. AJ Bell. Feel good investing. The value of your investments can go down as well as up.
Talksport Broadcasting Service transmit a Saturday afternoon double of live and exclusive football in the Premier League. Brentford lock horns with the chaps at Manchester United live on Talksport, while the brave men of the West Midlands have a derby as Coventry face Birmingham live on Talksport 2. Excitement for both games commences at 12:30. Live Saturday football on purveyors of sporting excellence, Talksport and Talksport 2.
The Gallagher Prem live on Talksport 2 this Thursday night from 7.
He's got it up in the air. He's kicked it. What a strike!
Hear tough tackling rugby union commentary as Sale Sharks take on Gloucester.
Has his hands on the ball. They're 5 metres out. They're going forward 4 metres. He's up and over the line. Can he get it down?
Sale Sharks take on Gloucester.
It's all about the grounding, and the referee's seen enough.
This Thursday night from 7, live on Talksport 2. It's the totally immersive football experience.
Right foot in. Oh, what a goal!
EFL live on Talksport 2.
I think it will be the left foot of Negli, and it's an absolute stunner into the top left-hand corner. Well, they haven't scored too many goals this season, Millwall. That has to be the pick of them. Kamil Negli from 20 yards out, left-footed, over the wall, into the top left-hand corner.
The game needed that, didn't it? You know, I thought you just felt that, you know, this home crowd here, you know, they were waiting for something to happen. They've got themselves in front with a lovely free kick, and it's about building like that now.
Millwall 1, Watford 0.
Well, the home fans at the Den are the happier at the break. Millwall leading Watford by 1-0. It's been a very intriguing contest. Cameron Negley's free kick, the difference. But you really feel like there could be at least one more goal in the game, and the next one would certainly be a crucial one. The second half on the way shortly here on Talksport 2, and the live football action continues tomorrow evening. We've got the Carabao Cup third round coming up live here on Talksport 2, commentary of Southampton's trip to Merseyside as they take on Liverpool. Now, ahead of the game, the under-pressure Saints boss Will Still admits he's fully aware of the difficult task awaiting his side at Anfield.
No one's stupid, no one's blind to what the challenge is tomorrow night. Best team in England, probably one of the best teams in Europe, and we have to go there with the belief that we can play football and that we're good at doing, certain things in our sort of register. We expect it to be a challenge. We expect it to be tough, but it's a cup. It's a one-off. I think all cup games are, and I think we just have to show a bit of personality, bit of bravery to stand back up, get back up. And it also will present a few opportunities for other players. So yeah, just go for it and don't overthink it, don't overanalyze it, and stand up and be counted for. Grimsby have done it in the previous rounds, and like I said, it's a one-off. There's always an opportunity there to win a game of football. We've actually done well in the 2 games that we've played. Especially the last round, I thought in Norwich we did really well. It's probably one of our better games. And I just want us to have a go. I just want us to be brave. I just want us to, show a bit of what we're about and not just go there and fold over and crumple. We need to be strong. We need to be good at what we do. So yeah, just go there and have a go.
Maybe Will Still will unlock the key to getting the best out of his Southampton side. They go to Liverpool in the Carabao Cup third round, live on Talksport 2 tomorrow night. It's an 8 o'clock start. 7:45 start over on Talksport tomorrow night as Lincoln host Chelsea. Wednesday night on Talksport it'll be Port Vale against Arsenal, with Real Betis against Nottingham Forest in the Europa League live here on Talksport 2. Thursday night also Europa League action over on Talksport as Aston Villa host Bologna. And Friday night we're back with more Championship action exclusively live here on Talksport 2 as West Brom host Leicester. And remember, another thrilling week in the NFL will conclude tonight on Talksport 2. Favourites for the Super Bowl go head-to-head on Monday Night Football. Exclusive commentary of the Baltimore Ravens hosting the Detroit Lions. That's from 1 a.m. And don't forget, next week the NFL is live in Ireland for the first time. Talksport 2 brings you exclusive live coverage of the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Minnesota Vikings from Croke Park in Dublin. And for all of our exclusive content and interviews, make sure you check out the Talksport USA YouTube channel. Here in the Den, still got the substitutes warming up, just awaiting the return of the 2 lineups. And yes, Millwall's players just emerging here. Alongside me, Alvin Martin and Alex Crook. Very quickly, Alvin, do you expect changes to come very soon, maybe from Watford's perspective, if they can't make that breakthrough in the final third?
Well, I don't see a big change very quickly. I think that they'll leave it. I think both managers would be happy with the effort, the standard of the game, really, as you mentioned at the break there. So, no, I'm not expecting immediate changes, but I think maybe Watford will leave it 15 minutes into the second half and see if they can pick up where they left off, because they had a good end to that half.
And for Millwall, they won't want any kind of momentum to build behind Watford. It's all about getting that second goal, likely to be the nail in the coffin the way Watford have scored goals so far this season. If they can go 2 in front, you're well on your way to the 3 points and likely to take all 3 home as well. Do you suggest that they need to maybe go up a gear or 2 at the start of the second half?
I think sometimes when you 1-0 up, you say all the right things in the dressing room, and they come out and they start a bit slowly, a bit casual, lethargic. So I think he'll have his eye on that, Alex Neil. I think what you want to do is rally them in there. So right, start off first 5 minutes, 10 minutes with an urgency. Win your tackles. Don't do anything silly. And like I say, then start to maybe look at adding a second, because I think that's going to be the key to it. I think if they sit back, I think this Watford side have got enough individuals to pull one moment of individual brilliance out and make it level again.
Let's see if Watford have the bit between their teeth. You were speaking about urgency. They've taken their time to come out for the second half, and it looks like we will get an enforced change at the break. I'll leave it to your commentary team to tell you all about it. At the break, Millwall 1, Watford 0 in the Championship. The second half live on Talksport 2 in the company of former England and West Ham defender Alvin Martin and Talksport's Alex Crook.
And there's going to be a change of goalkeeper for Watford for the second half. Nathan Baxter, who arrived on a free transfer from Bolton in the summer, is coming on. Egil Selvek collided with a post in conceding to that 10th minute free kick from Kamil Negli that separates these two teams, and clearly is still feeling a bit groggy. So Baxter is on. That the only alteration at the start of this second half, and maybe explains the delay in the Watford players coming back out too.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised because he looked like he was okay, didn't he, Silver? You know, he carried on after colliding with the post, come out and caught a couple of balls. To be fair, he wasn't overworked. Neither goalkeeper was in that first half.
Well, it will be Watford to get us back underway, trailing by a goal to nil. In their yellow jerseys, red shorts and red socks, they're attacking the goal away to our left-hand side. That's where the travelling Hornets fans are positioned. Millwall in navy blue jerseys, white shorts and navy socks, shooting from left to right. I'll run you through the two lineups. They're Millwall unchanged. Bender in goal, Leonard, Kramer, Cooper the captain, and Brian, who's been booked, the back four. Ballo, Luongo, Mazu Sakho and Emaku in midfield, with Negli the goal scorer behind Josh Coburn, the lone striker. For Millwall, it's for Watford, it's now Baxter in goal, Kevin, Pollock and Elaine the back three. Foremost Mendy and Bolla the wing backs, with Papi Mendy, Cipriano and Imran Louza in midfield, and then Vivaldo, Semedo and Iran Kunda leading the line up front. We've played just about a minute of the second half. No real goalmouth action as yet. No goalmouth action at all, in fact. And we only had 2 shots on target in the entire first 48 minutes, to include the stoppage time. And I guess that's to be expected from two teams who have struggled to put the ball in the back of the net at the start of this season. In fact, coming into the weekend, only 3 teams had scored fewer goals than Millwall. Watford haven't exactly been hitting the back of the net for fun either, and it's Millwall in possession here with Cooper, their captain, who just scoops the ball down the left-hand side of the field as we look. A sparsely populated den tonight. None of the 4 stands anywhere near full to capacity, as Bender, the goalkeeper, picks out the run of Coburn midway inside the Watford half, and it's all rather scrappy, Alvin, at the start of this second period.
Yeah, but that's a ball that we were talking about, long ball up to Coburn, and there's nobody really in close connection with him. You know, if there is, he can just lay that off on his chest or whatever. But he's fighting, trying to get it under control. But he's not just trying to fight the defender. He's got to have a really good touch, and it takes a lot of ability to be able to do that. But you know, if you've got somebody shouting you just to knock it down or nod it down with your head, it's a lot easier.
So Millwall 1, Watford 0, as it was at half-time. The first couple of minutes of the second half have been uneventful. Just shows you how tight the Championship is, Alvin. At the start of the game, we were talking about how close Millwall were to the bottom 3. They see out this victory. They're going to be level on points with Coventry in 6th, and only 2 points behind Stoke, who are 2nd.
It's incredible, really, isn't it? You know, I mean, that's why I think tonight is such a great opportunity for Millwall, and you know, it can get them from worrying. You know, they're going to get dragged into relegation battle. So all of a sudden, think, okay, playoffs is definitely within the sights now. It's a psychological thing, you know. And even though you know it's so early, and the fans know it as well. I think it places a lot of importance on the league position, even this early.
Iran Kunda felt he was bundled over there by Kramer. Referee allows play to continue. Watford have it back anyway down the left-hand side with Papi Mendy. It's a poor pass from him, and Cooper able just to sweep it back to the goalkeeper, Bender, away to our right. Long punt upfield from him, chested down by Coburn. That's a decent-looking ball. Hit first time by Luongo, looking for the run of Emaku, but Watford deal with the danger. It's out for a throw midway inside the Hornets half of the field. I wonder if Emaku just felt something there, maybe pulled up over on that far side. We'll keep an eye on that. Millwall leading by a goal to nil on Talksport 2. Watford actually have a pretty good recent record in this fixture. They've won 6 of the last 12 here at the Den after only 8 victories in 40 before that, away from home. And they've got a free kick to defend here, Alvin, from over on the far side.
Yeah, I think, again, there just seems to be a little bit more structure to what they're trying to do, Millwall, than Watford. I think Watford are just playing off the cuff to a certain degree. But, I thought that maybe from Millwall's point of view, Negley would have been given a little bit more freedom to get into closer contact with Coburn. You only need to be 10 yards off him. Whenever the ball goes up to him, just make yourself available.
A free kick to be played in by Imaku. Basically everybody in navy blue bar Joe Bryan is up in or around the penalty area. It comes down for Negley on the edge of the box, right-footed volley over the bar. I wonder if he maybe should have hit that first time, Alvin.
Yeah, it's easy from up here. I think you had a couple of people really charging him down. But, again, you can tell he's got ability. I think he's somebody that, if you do get him, especially on that left foot, I think, like just sliding things in. And he's obviously got the ability to just play the riskier ball. I think sometimes players are good players, but they're good standard. Like just play the easy ball, keep the game simple. You get the odd player, that's just got that little bit more. He strikes me as that sort of player. As Loser is for Watford. They've just got that little bit more finesse on the ball.
Nathan Baxter, the replacement goalkeeper, taking the goal kick, right-footed, but won by Leonard. And here down the right-hand side comes Negley, level with the 18-yard line. Cuts in on his left foot. You had Cipriano for company, so just make sure that Millwall keep possession. It's back now with Kramer on halfway. Big game this for Baxter, looking to endear himself from the bench to those Watford supporters. He spent 7 years on Chelsea's books without making a single appearance. As they signed from Bolton in the summer after his contract up in the northwest expired. Certainly got plenty of EFL experience in his locker. Here is Mazu Sakho for Millwall, just strokes the ball, the Frenchman, out to the right-hand side, and Leonard. 4 blue shirts waiting in the penalty area. Leonard gives it back to Mazu Sakho. And then Negley forward towards Tierno Ballo on loan from the Austrian side, Wolfsberger FC, the Ivorian. Making his first Millwall start this evening. As Joe Bryan plays the ball down the left-hand side, but too much pace on it for Imaku. It's out for a throw, but Millwall have successfully navigated the first 7 minutes after half-time with their 1-0 lead still intact.
Yeah, I think we said, didn't we, at the end of the first half, Watford have got to try and find a way of unsettling certainly the back line of Millwall, because at the moment it's in total control. You're looking at Cooper and Kramer. They're just playing the ball and not really having too much defending to do, Alex, and that'll be disappointing from Watford's point of view.
Leonard with the raking pass upfield over the head of Negley and nodded away by Pollock, one of those 3 central defenders for Watford. Here's Loser with the opportunity to come forward into Millwall territory, out to his right, and Iran Kunda with a cross into the box, but again easily dealt with by Cooper. And now maybe an opportunity for Millwall to counter. It was an important interception there by Papi Mendy for the Hornets, and here's Pollock urged forward over halfway, tracked all the way by Coburn. That was decent work from the forward, but they've not cleared the danger yet. Loser with a shot, left-footed low on the edge of the penalty area, blocked by the sliding Luongo. Here's Papi Mendy now, out to his namesake foremost Mendy, deep cross from him over the head of Semedo at the near post, and then nodded clear by Cooper. Watford fans behind the goal urging their team forward. The best we've seen from them early in this second half, and the cross in towards Cipriano with a looping header, but that is straight into the arms of Bender.
Yeah, again, lack of conviction really on the cross and the header, but they had some decent possession in and around the edge of the box there. At least that's some questions in Millwall.
54 gone. Millwall 1, Watford 0. There wasn't too much separating these teams on the table at the start of play. Millwall looking to pull clear of the visitors. Here's Cipriano though, just on the edge of the D. Neat footwork from him. Then plays the ball out to the left-hand side. It's a really indecisive cross from Boller, who I don't think's had a great evening, actually, the left wing back.
No, that was dreadful, really awful.
Here he is again, Boller, on this near side. Millwall have got everybody back inside their own half as Paolo Pezzolano, the Watford manager, urges his team on. So do the travelling supporters to our left. Here's Loser. Very elegant on the ball, the Watford captain, and he gets it back from Iran Kunda. But imperiously in steps Jake Cooper, and Millwall with the opportunity to bring it clear with Ballo out to the right hand side, and the goal scorer Negley. Coburn has made a run into the penalty area. Negley instead for Ballo. Wanted it back, I think. Ballo with a cross towards Coburn. He had two Watford players shackling him, and they've got it clear, but only as far as Cooper on the edge of the centre circle, still inside the Hornets' half. Decent tempo to the game early in the second half. 10 minutes gone. 1-0 Millwall, and they've got to throw in level with the 18-yard line over on the far left-hand side.
Yeah, still, a decent little spell of possession for Watford in and around in a decent area, but they still haven't really brought a save. I think he's had one save to make, hasn't he, Bender? One save, in the first half. That's not good enough.
Oh, that's a lovely little run from Ballo over on the left-hand side, and his cross is blocked behind for a corner. I think he showed promising glimpses, hasn't he, on his full league debut?
I think there's certainly positivity in certain areas for both teams, Alex. But if you're looking for the shape, I think just looking at what Millwall are doing, there seems to be a bit more of an identity about what they're trying to do. I still think they're lacking a bit of confidence in one or two forward players. But overall, I think if they can nick a result tonight, you feel that Alex Neil would feel pretty confident that they could go on a run.
They've got a corner over on the far touchline. The tall figure of Jake Cooper is up from the back, so too Tristan Kramer, his fellow centre-back. They do seem to have an area advantage, actually, Millwall, from these set-piece situations, and the corner is swung in from the left. Good punch away by backs to the sub-goalkeeper. And Iran Kunda will try and launch a counter-attack, but Millwall have won it back in double quick time. Joe Bryan forward to his left, and Mazu Sakho over on that far side. Luongo with a low ball into the box. Cooper had stayed forward. It was an important touch by Kevin Kebben to get it clear for Watford, the Cameroonian. And here is Semedo now, who's been tripped to the ground. It's going to be a free kick for Watford just inside their own half. That was a sensible foul to concede, with Watford having a numerical advantage on the counter. And if you're looking down at the Watford bench, Alvin, in terms of players who could come on and maybe change the course of proceedings, Luka Kiramgo has scored a couple of goals already, the big Danish forward. Tom Ince has usually got a goal threat. Here is Iran Kunda in the left wing position for Watford. He switches the play out to the right hand side. And the ball just dabbed back into the Watford half for Cipriano to pick up, or Pollock rather. And here at the heart of the defence now is Kebin. Cipriano there ahead of Mazu Sakho. And foremost Mendy looks to chip the ball forward towards the penalty area, but Millwall have come on the counter, and it's a good counter as well, stopped only on the edge of the penalty area by a really important challenge by Pollock. And then it's launched long upfield by Boller, flicked on by Iran Kunda, and in steps Kramer to win it back for Millwall, who lead 1-0. Coburn coming from an offside position there as the ball was launched forward.
I mean, the forward line of Watford, they don't look like they've got belief that they're going to score. It's visible. They get round in decent areas, and there's just not enough self-belief.
I think they're really missing Georgi Chakvatadze. He's been sidelined with injury since April. one of the best players in the division at times last season. I know a lot of Watford fans are counting down the days until he's available again. We've got Quadro Bar on the bench as well. No, isn't a prolific goal scorer. As Cipriano comes forward over the halfway line for Watford, Loser out to his right. Good football again. Mendy with a cross, but that's far too close to Bender, the goalkeeper. And that's where it's really broken down for the Hornets tonight. And Balu with the ball forward. Had he been able to find Imaku, Watford could have been in big trouble there because Millwall had men over. Loser forward to Irankunda. That low centre of gravity gets his shot away. It's blocked by Kramer. It was quite an ambitious effort from Irankunda. Clearly believes in his own ability. Don't think it was really going to trouble Bender, but he has won a corner.
Yeah, but if they can get him turned on the ball, anywhere 25 yards out, getting turned on the ball, he looks like he can go past people. Can he finish? I don't know. He'd have to prove that, but certainly, he's got something about him.
Corner swung in from the right-hand side, left-footed, but again, the referee has seen a foul. Negley it was who got a push in the back, so it's a free kick for Millwall. That'll be frustrating for Paolo Pezzolano, the Watford manager. Alex Neil, by the way, took charge of his 500th game as a manager as Millwall lost on penalties in the League Cup at Crystal Palace last midweek. It looks like we are going to see some Watford changes in the not too distant future. Pezzolano going to that bench that we've been talking about, and it's going to be Kayembe, who scored in a 3-2 victory here last season, who is coming on. And he will be replacing Papi Mendy, so that's quite a positive change from Pezzolano.
Yeah, you can see it. I'm surprised maybe he didn't look like Semedo. He's on the pitch. He's the taller one of the forwards, but he hasn't really had a look in. He hasn't won a ball in the air. He doesn't look like he's running behind. I think he's fortunate to stay on.
He's only 20 years of age. He made 2 substitute appearances in the Championship before tonight. Semedo, one of a number of Watford players that have arrived from Udinese in recent times. That's the other club, of course, owned by the Pozzo family over in Italy. It's become a bit of a feeder club. Here's Kayembe trying to get on the ball straight away, but has to play it back to the goalkeeper Baxter. 62 gone, Millwall 1, Watford 0 on Talksport 2. Don't forget tomorrow here on Talksport 2 we got live commentary from Anfield. Liverpool against Southampton, Premier League against Championship, champions against Championship in the EFL Cup, 3rd round over on Talksport. And it's Lincoln against Chelsea, and Enzo Maresca has been admitting today he's a bit concerned about that trip to Lincolnshire.
See, I'm looking at Millwall defensively, and they look so solid, in control of what's going on around them. But when it takes one moment, Alex, the amount of times I've played in games like that where you think, oh yeah, we've got this sewn up, and all of a sudden it's an individual mistake, or somebody does something unexpected to you as an individual against you. But certainly at this moment, if you're a betting man, you'd say that they look like they've got a clean sheet in them, don't they, Millwall?
Watford trying to change that. Kayembe, got a space to his left, and Boller. His delivery's been poor so far, and that's another low ball along the ground that's been swept clear by Kramer. Bring on the subs was a cry from one of the Millwall fans away to our left, urging Alex Neil to make some changes. Kayembe was having a shirt pulled there, but referee says play on. Felt Watford had the advantage, and then Loser gives the ball away. It's one back though. Here's Mark Boller again down the Watford left. Kayembe into Cipriano, who has to shoot by the Watford fans behind the goal, plays it out to the right, and Mendy instead. And then Cipriano with the ball into the area that Kramer on the stretch didn't clear away at the first time of asking. It is finally booted upfield. But you can hear the Millwall fans around us just getting a little bit agitated, Alvin, about the amount of possession that Watford are having all of a sudden. Boller with a cross into the penalty area. That's a better ball, and that's well defended by Kramer. On the slide with Iran Kunda lurking. He picks it up, Iran Kunda, left corner of the penalty area. 64 gone. And these Millwall fans clearly feel their 1-0 advantage is under threat. Loser scoops the pass out to the left-hand side. And Boller. Back to Loser, his captain. 15 yards outside the penalty area. Pollock is well forward from the back. But again, Millwall so well organised when out of possession. They've done a really good job protecting Stephen Bender's goal. Here is Kevin. Out to the Watford right. Cipriano will take over into Kayembe, the substitute. Now Loser back out to the left-hand side again. That's a decent-looking cross by Pollock that went over the head of Cipriano. The former Peterborough man in possession now, right corner of the area. He must have had about 40 passes here, Watford, as the ball is then chipped into the area and controlled by Boller. Plenty to aim at in the centre. Boller with a cross headed away. And then Coburn doing his defensive duty, but only shields the ball. Picked up initially by Iran Kunda. And then knocked away down the right-hand side by Leonard and out for a throw. And Alex Neil, listening to those Millwall fans around us, he is going to make a change. Reacting to that spell of Watford pressure. And Will Smallbone, who was an injury doubt for this game, the ex-Southampton man, is coming on for the final 25 minutes. The referee looks like he's just having a word with one of the stewarding team down there.
Yeah, it looks like Maku's coming off. He looked like you said it. Looked like he was carrying a little bit of a knock.
Yeah, he pulled up in the first few minutes of the second half over on the left-hand side after a run. I did wonder if he may be struggling, and he's not moving particularly freely as Smallbone comes on. He had a really good 35 minutes in Maku, and then you praised him and he started to give the ball away.
Reminds me of being a manager.
But again, that's quite a defensive change, isn't it, from Alex Neil? Even if it was injury enforced, Will Smallbone,
but he has said,
more defensive minded.
He has said that they've looked more creative and threatening when they've had the one up front and the extra one in midfield. So we'll see if he's proved right in his thinking there, because I think he was leaning towards that sort of system before the game.
66 on the clock. Millwall 1, Watford 0. Seems a long time ago now that Kamil Negley with the free kick from 20 yards put Millwall in front. And for all that possession they have, Watford, they didn't really get near Stephen Bender's goal. The Millwall stopper has still been relatively untroubled tonight. Coburn tussling with Kebin. Kebin has possession inside the Watford half, away to our right. Here's Pollock on the near touch line. Forward for Boller, and then Loser does well to keep possession. He was being manhandled by Smallbone, and as Millwall regained territory, the referee pulls it back for a Watford free kick. And that free kick is taken quickly inside their own half, and Max Alain forward to Iran Kunda. Does well to wriggle away from a couple of challenges, Iran Kunda, and then it's helped on by Semedo. Kayembe out to Boller, left corner of the penalty area. Boller with a deep delivery, too deep for everybody in yellow. Nodded clear only as far as Loser. Might have another go here, Boller, on this left touch line. Runs into Leonard, and in the end Watford have to settle for a throw down this near side, the left. 69 gone, 1-0 down Watford, but certainly seeing a lot of the ball, Alvin, in this second half.
Yeah, you can see there's a little bit of nervousness. I think the crowd have maybe transmitted it onto the pitch, and it's found its way to the players now. But again, it's okay saying they're having decent possession, Alex, but I think they've put a couple of decent balls here. I've got to say that the quality looks like it's had an upturn in that respect, but they're still having registered anything in terms of making the goalkeeper make a save.
Credit to those travelling Watford fans. They've stuck with the team tonight without having too much goalmouth action to cheer. That can change, of course, in the last quarter of the match. Here is Loser. He's brought a semblance of control on his return up from suspension tonight in midfield. The Watford captain, Joe Bryan, wins it back on the left-hand side. They're struggling to play their way out here, Millwall, and they conceded a throw well inside their own half. As Watford ready, another substitute, in fact a double substitution is about to be made. One of the players coming on is Luka Kiramgo, who I was talking about earlier, having made a decent start to his Hornets career. It might be Quadro Bar being readied as well. Clearly, Paolo Pezzolano feels this game is still there for his team. Semedo may be at risk of coming off, you would imagine. The tall teenager. This is Loser, halfway inside the Millwall half, back to Kevin. And Kevin away from Coburn, who's worked tirelessly up front for Millwall, done his defensive work as well. It is Quadro Bar who is coming on. Loser. That's a lovely ball out to the right-hand side. Opportunity for Mendy to get across into the area. Didn't really make the most of that one. And now Millwall can clear their lines. The ball played up towards Coburn, who maybe is just starting to tire. Gave that one up quite easily. And Watford will come forward again. The ball spoon forward to Irankunda. He's clearly offside. And it will be a free kick for Millwall, and it will be a treble Watford change. Bar and Kiramgo, as I've already mentioned. And we're also going to see Caleb Wiley. Mark Boller is the player replaced by Wiley. I mentioned his lack of end product, Alvin. He got in some promising positions, but never able to find the telling pass. The last we've seen of foremost Mendy as well, so both wing backs replaced. And I would imagine that Vivaldo Semedo will be the player making way for Kiramgo. That is exactly what is happening. What do you make of those alterations?
Yeah, well, I can see certainly the number 9 coming on. I think I would have made that one earlier, to be fair, because they've had good possession. And I don't think they've had enough threat in terms of attacking the ball inside the opposition penalty area. And certainly he'll give them that, give them God.
And that does mean they've made all 5 of their allotted changes, Watford. So Paolo Pezzolano has done as much as he can from the bench with 18 minutes to play. Watford trailing by a goal to nil here on Talksport 2. Baxter in the all-pink goalkeeping get-up plays the ball forward to Pollock. Irankunda out-muscled by Kramer. And it's stinked forward to Coburn. Level with the 18-yard line by Negley. Coburn with the ball into the penalty area. There just weren't really enough blue jerseys committed for it. Will Smallbone was the player in closest proximity, but sailed all the way into the arms of Baxter, the keeper. And the longer this game goes on at 1-0, the more nervy these Millwall fans will get, having failed to see their team win at home all season.
I think if Watford were able to bring a save out of Bender, then I think they might get nervous. I think the fact that they haven't really created anything, they've had decent possession here. Watford is just simmering under a little bit the atmosphere.
Yeah, there's a sort of nervous hush around the den on this brisk autumnal evening. Hugh Wozencroft has rolled out the thermals for the first time this season. I'm not sure that is completely necessary. Certainly the temperature has dropped a few degrees on what we've been used to in recent weeks, let's just say that. As Millwall have possession with their goal scorer, Negley, inside the centre circle. The right-hand side of the pitch was quite congested, so he goes out to the left, Negley, small bone into the path of Luongu. Here's Joe Bryan, who's had a good game coming forward from left back again. Smallbone with a little back heel into Bryan. It was lovely interplay, and the touch from Bryan was just a bit too heavy, and Watford able to clear it up into the Millwall half away to our left. Here is Negley. At the moment, his free kick on 10 minutes will be enough to see the point stay at the Den. Stephen Bender with a long punt upfield. Coburn flicks it on, but picked up by Maxilane, who played as a left back in the last game against Blackburn. He is usually a central defender, the England under-20 international on loan from Manchester City. He played with a back three, Paolo Pezzolano, for most of pre-season, has chopped and changed between a 4-3-3 and a 4-4-2 as he played at Blackburn. As Millwall come forward with Negley, but good challenge on the edge of the penalty area by Kebin. And when you're changing formation, you're changing 5 players as he did tonight. It doesn't inspire too much confidence. The manager knows what his best team is. There's a shot from the edge of the penalty area from Tierno Ballo, is straight into the arms of Baxter.
Could have had a touch, really. He could have had a touch. It was a lovely ball weighted to him. It allowed him to take it on first time, but maybe he could have stopped it and then travelled a couple of more yards and then maybe try to pick a place out.
Millwall fans finding their voice again for the final push here towards the 3 points in the last 15 minutes. Alex Neil is preparing to make a triple change of his own next time the ball is dead. I wonder if Coburn may be taken off. I mentioned he's looked a little bit leggy in this second half. Macaulay Longstaff is one of those who might be coming on. Caleb Taylor as well, and Zach Sturge. That'll be the triple change that Alex Neil is about to make.
He's covered a lot of ground today, Coburn, but unfortunately for him, it's not been in the areas he would like.
Opportunity here for Watford to get across into the penalty area. It was Caleb Wiley in a good position, but couldn't beat the first man, much like Boller for the duration of his evening. Here is Caleb Wiley again. Millwall 1, Watford 0, 77 minutes on the clock here on Talksport 2 as Elaine fizzes the pass out to his right-hand side. And Barr dispossessed by Bryan, who just took a kick there as he won back the ball, and then Barr wins it back and then gives it straight away again. Joe Bryan into midfield and Luongu. More groans as Millwall concede possession needlessly. Well inside their own half of the field. Imran Louza trying to pick his way through here. Maybe an opportunity for Kayembe to get a shot away. Instead he plays it out to the left and Wiley. Here's Kayembe again. That's a decent looking ball towards the far post, and a really important header away by Joe Bryan. Out for a throw, because they do have an aerial threat now. 6'6" Luca Kiramgo. That was well defended by Bryan, and here come the trio of Millwall changes. Tierno Ballo is going to get a warm ovation from the Millwall fans as his first start in Lions blue comes to an end. Caleb Taylor replacing him down the right-hand side. Zach Sturge, the left back on loan from Chelsea, is also coming on. And Joe Bryan, who picked up that yellow card in the first half, is sacrificed, having, I think, had a really good game, Alvin.
Yeah, he's been steady on the ball, actually. He hasn't had to do too much defending, to be fair, Alex. I think he's been productive, though, when he with his left foot, kept the ball, hasn't given too much away, whipped a few decent quality balls into the box. Yeah, steady game tonight.
And Macaulay Langstaff is going to replace the goal scorer, Camille Negley. Langstaff just back from injury. Negley's free kick goal with just 10 minutes on the clock. At the moment, is going to be enough for all 3 points for Millwall. Throw in by Watford, launched into the area, headed away by Coburn. And then Cooper, the captain, content just to let it trickle behind for a goal kick in front of those Watford fans. Still, Stephen Bender hasn't been seriously tested.
No, I think since they brought on some of these substitutes, Watford, they've lost control of the game. It's cost them a little bit of the rhythm that they had. Krumsgaard now is on. You feel like, if they were supplying him with the sort of service that he had prior to his arrival, then they might have got some joy, but they just lost their way in terms of delivery.
Coburn again grappling with Kevin. It's been a good battle between those two. I think by and large, actually, Kevin, the Watford defender, has probably come out on top, and he launches that ball forward. Picked up now in the left back position by Caleb Wiley. And now Kevin again. Bit of space for Kayembe on the edge of the centre circle. Elaine strides forward down the left. Sliding challenge from Luongo to concede the throw in that Watford will take over on the far side. And they're having to build patiently again from the back with time no longer on their side. Only 10 to play plus stoppage time, and there haven't been too many delays in this second half. I think in terms of possession, Watford have probably edged it since half time.
Yeah, they have, yeah. But I think that's down to possibly Millwall sitting off them a little bit, Alex. I don't think it's been, it's been gifted to him to a certain degree.
That's the voice of Alvin Martin, former West Ham and England man, part of our commentary team on Talksport 2 this evening from the Den. It's a good turn by Kyprianou, halfway inside Millwall territory. Kayembe plays the ball into midfield, and Irankunda, can he get a shot away? Yes, he can from distance, and that is a smart reaction stop from Bender, because the ball travelled a long way through a crowd of bodies on a greasy surface. He had to make sure he was on point there, Bender, just to slap it clear. Really purposeful from Irankunda. Only one thing on his mind when he picked up the baton, ran about 15 yards outside the area, cuts it on his left foot, and that's a potentially awkward save for the keeper.
Well, it was all about power, and I think he was moving a little bit in the air, so the goalkeeper had to watch it, make sure he got a good, strong pair of hands behind it, which he did. But tell you what, it was powerful, wasn't it? If they could have just got him turned in them sort of situations, a little bit closer to goal, I'm sure he's capable of doing damage.
There's a literal wrestling match going on there. Referee plays an advantage. Macaulay Langstaff goes down inside the area. Well, at best it was clumsy from Kevin Kebben. I think it was probably a penalty.
Well, it's certainly if it was in the VAR booth, it'd be looked at. Absolutely. My take on that is that he's got that right, because I think he'd already made his mind down. He's the other side of the defender, and he was going to go down with any sort of touch. So I think he went down a little easy, but absolutely a case to be heard there.
Well, you can hear what the home supporters made of it. There was a real wrestling match going on before that, with Josh Coburn very much involved. It was a good advantage, actually, played by the referee, Josh Smith. And he was of the same belief of Alvin Martin. It wasn't a foul inside the penalty area. These Millwall fans, probably not for the first time in your life, Alvin, don't agree with you.
I'll tell you, what they have got is two centre-halves that are typical Millwall centre-halves, in Cooper and Kramer, two solid individuals, as much as they took the goal, or the lead fairly early, haven't had to defend for their lives, I think they've been a pretty strong unit, but those two centre-halves, whenever they've been asked to, have cleared a ball, have won a battle, they've kept the ball. I think they've been decent in terms of, footballers, possession of the ball. I think they've had really complete games of two centre-halves.
Coburn felt he was pushed in the back again there by Pollock. Those two are sort of having a running battle now, the Millwall fans showing their support for their man. He has got through a huge amount of work rate at the top end of the pitch, Josh Coburn, on a night when he hasn't had too many opportunities to get himself on the score sheet. In fact, it's only one goal now in his last 17 appearances since scoring against Watford. back in March. Here's Langstaff down the right-hand side, sliding challenge comes in from Kevin. Langstaff is happy enough with that as the ball goes out for a throw down by the right corner flag. We've only got 6 minutes plus stoppage time to play, and Millwall lead 1-0.
Yeah, I don't think it's the sort of place, is it, where you keep the ball for the sake of it at Millwall. I think they expect you to, even if you want to love coming to the last 5 minutes, to get the ball in the box and let's get a second. That's the mentality of the crowd.
Well, this is going to be a long throw into a congested penalty area. Only Iran Kunda of the Watford players is keeping out of it at the moment. Just trying to occupy Tristan Kramer, the Millwall defender, in case the opportunity is there to counter. Leonard with the hoisted throw into the box again. There was a Millwall player down. Again, the fans behind the goal want a penalty. The players didn't really appeal for that one, but it is going to be another Millwall throw in, and they are running down the clock quite well here.
Yeah, I think it's about keeping the ball in that half now, isn't it? I think Cooper obviously is the focal point. He's big, and they're going to get a ball into him. They're trying to crowd him out. I think he was actually pushed to the ground there. Sometimes I see players, doesn't matter what level, Premier League champs, just hold on to people in the penalty area, and penalties they're not given.
Leonard with the throw. Watford clear it away and hits Iran Kunda almost, and that enables them to launch a somewhat fortuitous counter-attack. Then there was a Millwall player, I think Luongo, who kicked the ball away. Watford players surrounding the referee. It's all getting a bit feisty as we approach the 90-minute mark.
I'm probably not the first one to witness this, but even when he makes a decision that's obviously right and it's not gone towards Millwall's favour, they object in a rather raucous manner.
They object. It's a very polite way of framing it, Alvin. Ball forward by Kevin. Helps that right-hand side in Quadro Bar, who's not seen much of the ball since he came on. He might have an opportunity to cross here, though, into the area. Well defended again by Cooper, who's had a faultless game so far at centre-back, the Millwall captain. And the Millwall players being urged to get higher up the pitch, not just by the fans, but by Alex Neil as well. They are sitting very deep with 3 minutes to go, leading 1-0. Watford dominating the ball without creating any golden opportunities to get back on level terms. Here is Kayembe trying to change that. Switches the play out to his right-hand side in the lane. Now Barr. The chance to run at Sturge. Barr's cross hits Sturge, then bounces back off the Watford man. Goes behind for a goal kick, perfectly spotted by the eagle-eyed assistant on the far side.
When a fullback makes a challenge like that, it lifts the whole team, because it looks like at the worst way they're going to get a corner there, Watford. And even 3 or 4 minutes ago, you know that there's a possibility. Let's just say there's a nervousness that runs through your team. But when he gets the challenge in, the block in, and gets a goal kick, it gives everyone a massive lift in the crowd.
Now, Rocco Vata is coming on. What that I think means is that they used a concussion substitute at half-time, because they made 5 changes. Selvik going off for Baxter having headbutted the post, and that enables them to bring on Rocco Vata for Cipriano for the last 3 minutes. Again, a very attacking move. I wonder if those Watford fans behind the goal might just be thinking that maybe Paolo Pezzolano should have done it a bit earlier.
When you've seen, the strike that we win, it's on the left foot of Iran Kunda. You just think, why couldn't they have got him in that sort of position? Far more in the game, and he obviously has got the ability to get himself turned and get on the ball. But I think you've got to, ask the question of the people who are supplying that they haven't done a good enough job tonight.
Only goal difference keeping Watford out of the relegation zone as it stands. Got another international break to come in a couple of games' time. Another one in November. I'd imagine if they're down there then the new man in the dugout will come in for some real scrutiny, such as the Watford way. Here is Kayembe. Now, they've had enough of the ball in the second half to get something from the game, but so far haven't turned that possession into anything purposeful. They have won a corner though in the 89th minute, attacking the end of the Den where the travelling supporters
you expect
are
this
situated.
To be good, wouldn't you, Alex? He's been decent on the ball all night, this man.
Loser puts his right arm in the air. Can Watford find an equaliser late in the game here? Headed towards goal, and there was a little flick on the edge of the 6-yard box, and how has that stayed out? It was the big man Kiramgo who just swept it goalwards after the header had been won initially, I think, by Elaine, and somehow Millwall keep it out of the back of their net. Loser with a corner, cleared and picked up now by Iran Kunda. Well, that's far and away as close as Watford have come to scoring. Ball dinked into the area again, straight into the arms of Bender. I think he'll feel, Kirambo, that he should have scored.
Well, I don't know how it hasn't gone in.
It hits the goalkeeper. He knows nothing about it,
He's
Bender.
gone the wrong way. He stuck a hand out. Some people say it's a save, some say reflex, some say, look, one thing is for sure, it wasn't a goal.
And they might not get a better opportunity, Watford, to equalise, as Will Smallbone puts a cross into the penalty area. Well, some Millwall fans are screaming for a handball, some are screaming for a corner. In the end, it's gone out for a Watford throw.
Oh, Loser.
And then there's a little altercation there between Imran Loser and one of the Millwall players.
Leonard, yeah.
Harry Leonard, the fullback.
He went in hard, Alex. He went in hard in him. He got the ball, and you can see he wasn't happy with it, Loser. I think he went a little bit too ferocious for Loser's liking.
Both managers surrounding the fourth official. 4 added minutes at the end of the 90, with Millwall clinging on to this 1-0 lead. Referee has just calmed tempers down by the corner flag. I think it's always exasperating when it happens in the corner, and the crowd right on top of it as well. And it will be Nathan Baxter to restart the game for Watford. They have 3 added minutes to find the equalising goal. Millwall 3 minutes away from their first home points of the season, their first home win of the season as well. At the moment, Watford are just playing the ball around the edge of their penalty area. It suggests they need to get forward a bit more quickly than that. Here's Kevin, midway inside the Watford half. Loser has dropped in to form part of that back line. He's barely wasted a pass all night, Loser. Looks for the direct route towards the area, headed away by Cooper again. And now Watford have a throw in down by their own right corner flag, and Millwall are going to make a change. Wes Harding coming on just to eke away a few more valuable seconds, and actually Leonard, I think, felt the force of that challenge as well.
Yeah, he went through on Lucer. I think he hit himself more than the Watford captain.
I mean, it's not been a particularly aesthetically pleasing game, but then we didn't expect it to be, but it's been enough to keep us intrigued.
It was all about the result. This game's always been about the result before, because the result was massive. You know, if Millwall get it, they still haven't got it. You know, see if they've got something to say about it, Watford. But you know, defeat for Watford would have the same sort of implications as victory for Millwall. You know, it's a massive lift for Millwall and a massive blow if it stays like this for Watford.
You know, they've only got a couple of minutes to get that equalising goal. Watford, Kayembe forward. They are a bit stretched here, Millwall, with Watford players streaming up for this attack. But again, it's been the theme of the night. The final pass lets them down. It was Rocco Vata this time who gave it away, and then Imran Loser, much to the delight of the Millwall fans, is adjudged to have fouled Smallbone. He is frustrated, the Watford skipper, but that might just be enough to see the home team over the line.
Well, it got a reaction from the crowd. You can see there were 4 or 5 tackles flown in there, and each one where the ball was ricocheted, another tackle went in, and they love that here. They love it. And Smallbone has really come on and applied himself, hasn't he? You know, put a lot of effort in, got himself about the pitch, made challenges, and he was the one that got the last challenge in and got fouled at the same time.
Only 30 seconds of the minimum of 4 added minutes to play. I think maybe we might go into a fifth. Again, there's grappling on the edge of the penalty area. Referee's played a good advantage here because Millwall are still on the attack with Zach Sturge down by the left corner flag. He could have put the ball into the area, didn't really show a great deal of interest in doing so, and it's gone out for a Watford throw over on the far side. It'll be a Millwall throw, in fact, will it? Or even a corner, maybe.
It should be a Millwall throw. I think it was a Millwall throw. I'm a long way away from that, but I would have said Millwall throw. He's giving a corner now.
And they're going to take it short and just try and keep the ball at that end of the pitch. The 4 added minutes are up. Zach Sturge in possession. On the edge of the area is Langstaff, and now maybe a shooting chance for Mazu Sakho. As the full-time whistle blows, Alex Neil has his first points, his first win at home this season, and what a difference that victory has made to the league table. Millwall up to 10th place, level on points with 6th place Coventry only a couple of points off the automatic promotion spots. So concertinaed is the championship at this early stage of proceedings. The goal that won it was scored in the 10th minute. Kamil Negli with a 20-yard free kick into the top corner. For Watford, it's now 1 win in 7 under the stewardship of Paolo Pezzolano. They're only being kept out of the relegation places on goal difference. The spotlight firmly on the new man in the Hornets dugout. But this is Millwall's night. This is Kamil Negli's night as it finishes Millwall 1, Watford 0.
A big, big night for Alex Neil's Millwall. They didn't want the poor momentum at home, if you like, to continue. They wanted to turn it into a positive trend, and they have started that this evening with a big 3 points over Watford. Two sides who came into this desperate for a win, really, to change the conversation around their form. And actually, when you look at the table now, it looks very healthy indeed from a Millwall perspective. That outside hope of being a playoff team this season may well slim in terms of their chances. Alvin Martin alongside me, how big do you think tonight could be for Millwall's confidence moving forward?
Oh, massive. I think it puts a completely new reflection on the games they've got coming up. I think they'll gain a lot of confidence from this. They'll take that into the next game, knowing I think the fans are looking now at the league table thinking, okay, we're in touching distance now of the playoffs, which is where we wanted to be coming into the season. I think Alex's message about this being a great opportunity has been borne out as well. But I thought it was a really spirited display tonight, and I thought defensively they were rock solid, absolutely rock solid.
I don't think I've heard a referee cop as much abuse for a win for the home side, but there you go. I said they were going home happy, maybe not. Not happy with the referee at least. Defeat for Paolo Pezzolano and Watford. Are there some positives to take from this evening?
Well, look, I don't think they were hammered tonight. You know, they've lost a narrow game. But the worrying thing for him and to Watford faithful is that, you know, they conceded a goal early on, and really, I can't remember too many times when they looked like scoring. They had one, you know, long-range shot that was ferocious. You know, like, and they had maybe one little bit of misfortune where, you know, the goalkeeper.
Point blank.
He made a save. Bit lucky as well, you might say, but that's not enough really for the amount of possession they had tonight. I think he'll know that there's players underperforming. They've got individuals that've got something about them. I don't think they've got a focal point in the team, and I think Millwall were better organised and well deserved the 3 points tonight.
Watford 61% possession tonight, 11 shots in total compared to 9 for Millwall, 4 shots on target for Watford compared to 2 for Millwall. They led XG narrowly, 0.74 to 0.71 for Millwall. It suggests a very, very tight game aside from the possession, but actually when you look at the chances, that Watford created, I mean, there were none really. The point-blank save you mentioned, Alvin, came from a flick on from a set piece. I don't think anyone knew anything about it. It ricocheted against the goalkeeper. On another night, it flies into the back of the net, and they leave here with a point. Maybe we would then be saying a deserved point. I think there are some positives in terms of the return of Imran Louza, the way that they played in possession at times, but you're absolutely right. No real focal point up front for Watford. They don't look like a side that are going to consistently create goal-scoring chances or put them away.
Yeah, I think Louza was the outstanding player on their side, but I just felt as well that, you know, when you look at the possession there, Hugh, I think a lot of that possession was in deep areas, and it was because I think Millwall were defending a one-goal lead, so they were saying, okay, you can have the ball back there. So I think sometimes that can be a start when you look at the stats and think, okay, well, they've dominated. But while they dominated areas of it, I always felt that Millwall felt that they were more than capable of keeping them out.
The good thing is, at least, it was a bit of a battle in the second half. I got what I came for at the Den under the lights on a Monday night. Alex Crook, Alvin Martin, thank you very much for your commentary. As we mentioned a little bit earlier on, Millwall up to 10th. They're level on points with 6th place Coventry, 10 points from their 6 games. Watford 21st outside the relegation zone on goal difference alone, 5 points from their 6 games so far this season.